Hello, how's it, you guys? I'm Mike Chalk. I'm a builder and teacher with Hanalem Ia, and as well as the Ukulele Guild of Hawaii. I'm here with Eric DeVine, and I'm holding in front of me his 20th anniversary model ukulele, which Eric, it's now called a tenatone.
Tenatone, yeah.
Tenatone, which is a cross between a tenor and a baritone, and what I guess the idea was to combine the two to create a better one, and it now has and it was talked about earlier with chemo, how the increased size. I guess the scale length now is a whole different.
Yeah,
animal.
everything falls about halfway between a tenor and a baritone, with the exception of the tuning, which remains
GCEA.
Yeah, which that was the idea behind designing it was basically just have a bigger instrument, more volume, more sound, more sustain, which everybody kind of wants, but they don't want to jump up to a baritone. Many people because of the different tuning, and it's too hard to go back and forth. So.
Well, it's very comfortable, number one, So body size, now you've probably increased that from the 12 to maybe
14.
14.
Is that right?
13 half, somewhere
14.
in there, 14.
14. Yeah.
And scale length, what are you playing with?
The scale length is a little over 18.
18.
Yeah, so pretty much everything is right in the middle of the tenor and the baritone.
Yeah, so I've noticed, I've watched you for 20 years, ever since our first Ukulele Guild exhibition in 2000. And at that time, Eric was doing the Kasha tenors, which went over super well with chemo. And that was our presentation, actually. Our featured artist was you, actually, and that was pretty neat. But I for one, can see the changes that have developed over the years. And what's really cool is if you just hold this thing, this ukulele, it kind of makes you look good automatically, So you don't have to be a player because you just have to stroke, and the action is just set up so wonderfully that it makes you look good. So athletics, athletics that has a lot to do with the purchase of ukulele. You want everything to look really nice, yet. And I've always been a fan of this. You have this ability to showcase an instrument with understated elegance. You achieve elegance without a lot of egg in the corner, and that's something really special that I followed all along. I mean, like I told you, I love your Little Prince design, and
that was a fun one.
And I know for me, getting into building, I was enamored by a Klein guitar that he built for Joni Mitchell, and it was just a simple rosette, but it had like stars and planets, which just set it apart, and I always have that that feeling about when you do your instruments, because they're very elegant yet understated, and it all begins with I don't know where you get it. I mean, the choice and the availability of the materials you put in just is incredible. You don't come across, well, I don't, coal like this, that it's so tight. I mean, everything is just tight curl. Color, you got the oranges and the yellows in the coil, which is it blends so well that the amount of curl, it doesn't floor you. It's like it's expected. I mean, it's like, wow, it should be like that. That's how cool it should look. And then when I get your story of this insanely curly neck, it being a Chinaman, it just blows my mind, because with a piece like this, I would be very tempted to slice it up into sets.
Well, that was initially what it was going to be. I'd had, these couple of boards of that material, and I had them, they were sitting there for, 7, 8 years, something like that. And, I just didn't want to use them, I don't know what I'm going to do with these things, and I thought they would end up as sets. I kind of just assumed that. But as this, you know, instrument started coming to life, so to speak, it kind of, I was like, oh, well, that's it right there. Those, you know,
it kind of goes together.
That'd be perfect. And that material it made it exceptional. And actually, it had just a nice creamy butteriness to the way the wood worked. And carved and sanded and everything as well.
Yeah, so that brings me to the point, because being a teacher, and we both have similar construction backgrounds. I was taught in construction, you don't build without a plan, because it's pretty hard to just pull it out of your ears and just keep going. You can, but it becomes something else.
It takes a lot of experience of doing that to be able to come that.
Out. Yeah. So what I love about your instruments is that you can tell there's a plan, and there's a lot of thought going into the pre-construction of what you come out with, and ultimately, and that goes, and it begins with the choice of material, and I know to come up, I can't start unless I know a rosette, some sort of design. I mean, or else I just don't want to build it, you know. So I know to come up with an anniversary model, that's special in itself, and then to come up with what theme you should kind of do.
Yeah, I bounced around quite a bit with trying to work on this design, and you know, I mean, like you said, it's that search for elegance, you know, to keep it exciting but not too blingy. Just that fine line of staying right in there, and you know, the idea of kind of couldn't get away from the vine concept on this particular one. I wanted to do something like with the ukulele style and stuff. So as that design kind of started coming to life, and refining it and making sure to keep it elegant enough where it wasn't overpowering the rest of the instrument and being too big.
Yeah, that's for me. You do that insanely well. And that ukulele is a real important factor to me. It's just that I never seen you do a ukulele design.
This is the first one that I've done. I've never done a ukulele vine before. So.
And there you go. It's so fitting because it's a DeVine ukulele with the ukulele vine, and it's divinely made. I mean, it's just a play on this whole thing. What else can I say? You know, that's just what it is, and it's just. I was taught you cannot teach art. It's something you have. You can nurture it, of course. You can always grow with it, and you can always expand. But it's something in a person, and it comes out as a personal thing.
And it's everybody's different perception of what they like to see or what they like to do. Like, I mean, you know, like you said, my style is a bit more simple than you know, a lot of others and stuff, and I you know, I kind of just like things a little bit.
It's a deceiving word, that, because that simplicity is a complexity to get there.
It wasn't simple to do, but simplicity of design is
and that's always it's really hard to achieve.
Aspect. I kind of like.
So I noticed now in your shape you've flattened the top a bit, got the butts out a little nice.
That was from my original body size or shape, which was based off the Kasha plans that you guys had. And then a number of years ago, I had started playing around with different shapes. I think it's been about, I guess about 10 years now.
10 years now,
and I've pretty much stuck with this shape, same exact shape for my concert tenor tone, baritone.
So, may I ask, bracing wise, because I can't see in here now, what have you kind of arrived
It's similar. So, you know, it was in the beginning through you guys' plans.
From the
Kasha plans, was doing that, and then kind of started experimenting a little bit with removing some braces, kind of just fine-tuning and tweaking to, you know, kind of make it my own. And kind of settled on this. So it's basically a stripped down Kasha, like
yeah.
a Kasha hybrid. Almost.
You know what I during the course of my teachings these 20, 30 years, I've always tell people I can teach you process. You know, I mean that's what I'd love you to learn, how things go together and the why of it. But when you choose a system, you take that system and then you commit to it. But eventually, if you're a builder, and I know you are, you tweak and you tweak, and that system changes, and or it becomes entirely different, and it becomes something that has nurtured through your mind and your experiences of building. Because I know if you're a custom builder, you're building, and you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over. It may look like the same thing, but no, there's always little nuances that you're tweaking.
Yeah.
And then that's what I see in your building. It's always something you have to look for. You know, you have to look for, and you have to touch and hold. And like I say, with your instrument, the success is you look awesome. I mean, just holding it, and when you stroke it, it's just like, my God, it's something we all should have. I mean, we should have an instrument that actually responds to the touch and to whatever you're doing, and because it has its own tuning, you can't go wrong because the sound is there, you know. And I
say all the different bracing styles that I mean, there's, you know, nowadays especially, there's a million different bracing styles, and you know, the bracing style is only as important as, you know, who's building
putting it together.
I
right.
mean, you know, you could give, you know, two different people the same set of plans, and it's going to sound totally different.
It's going to be sound. Yeah.
It's all about what people do with, and what fits them, what fits their building style, what fits the type of sound that they want to create. You know, it's not, everybody doesn't want to create the same sound.
Yeah, and that's true of people who remain true to their vocation. I mean, I know for certainty, I mean, there's only one Eric DeVine. You'll always have a DeVine sound, no matter what. There'll be a lot of people chasing it, but it cannot be. It only can be their sound or their interpretation of what they're trying to get at. But it's always back to the builder and what he puts into. And I guess the beauty of the instrument that's completed is, you know, my favorite saying is the ukulele can never lies. And when you see something like this and you hear something like this, this is the truth. You know, this is what it sounds like. This is an Eric DeVine, and this is a 20-year model, which really is telling you there's a lot of experience in this baby.
Yeah, there's a lot of hours.
There's a lot of hours
over the years that have gone into it, and you know, I've never really been out to reinvent the wheel as far as the uke goes, or any instrument goes for that matter. But I find more personal joy in the fine stuff, refining the small bits and pieces.
Yeah, so it's funny, you never sought out to do that, but you have improved the wheel just by doing it and being there. And this is, you know, proof of the pudding. I mean, there's a lot of technique and different procedures that have gone into this instrument that have not been done previously, you know, but combined in its own way, you know, produces an Eric DeVine. And if any of you have a chance to look at this, you ought to be blessed to be able to come and actually do this in person, you know, see this in person. So after this 20th year, you got a big premiere to follow. I mean, you know.
Yeah, time to start thinking about 30 years, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, I guess, because it feels like 2 or 3. I know it. I can't believe, you know, 20 has passed.
Thinking about, you know, going back to, gosh, those old days of coming over and coming down to the shop and you know, picking out sets and, you know, ordering, you know, tuners and binding and everything from you guys. And gosh, it seems like 2 years ago, and it seems like a million years ago at the same time.
But the secret still is you have the key to material acquisition that I don't know who else has. And I've seen your posting of some of your mango stuff that's just almost obnoxious. It's so crazy. You know?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time sourcing material and you know, have made a lot of great friends over the years, and you know, it's like everything else in the business. You know, you get out of it what you put into it, and the friends and people that we've met over the years, and you know, just experience of looking at koa and knowing what's hiding in there. You know, because you see a raw board or a log even.
So I mean, just the idea and the ability to see what you want in a piece and recognize it, that's just a whole art in itself.
Yeah, and looking at a board and knowing to look for the size of the pore structure in the board, the angle of the curl,
the deflections,
I mean, there's a lot that you can tell if you're looking at raw material. And it's, you know, one of those things that you can teach a little bit out of a book, but it kind of just takes time. And,
it's actually the doing part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because I know the passion is not lost. Yeah, it's still there. Yeah. It's and the reason for you building is just that. So I think for me, when I get out of this, is a lot of pleasure because I can say, gosh, I've known her for 20 years, and I've seen, you know, what he did, and the first stuff was awesome anyway. You know?
Mentor, no less.
Yeah. And now the 20th is indeed something that we're all fortunate to see, and hopefully there'll be another. Usually 2025 is a good one, you know, 25 and then 30. So we'll keep building like that.
Keep coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, and you're coming up with a move to Molokai.
Yeah.
And that's still slated. You know?
Yep. In fact, we just submitted our plans finally, and
really,
we're headed that direction, and looking forward to it.
So by next year, we'll have a different model coming out of Molokai.
Molokai model, maybe.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I appreciate me getting the chance to talk with you, Eric. I think that's been really great. So for all of you out there, again, the 20th anniversary, Eric DeVine Tentatone. You've really got to come check this guy out. It's well worth the effort because this is a divine instrument. Okay, mahalo.